Okay, we are trying a new uh, piece of hardware here that I'm trying to work out. I'm using an iPad this time. Lots of difficulties this morning, as you guys are well aware, especially if you're from outside of the board. Yeah, kind of a nightmare for a startup here, but hopefully we can get things going from this point on. It's going to be a two-parter because I am again afraid. I've done this multiple times and I'm afraid it's not going to work. So I'm going to separate into two parts. So the first part, I guess, just as a welcome, right? I'm Mr. Clare. You're going to be hearing my voice quite a bit. Every day you're going to have a video. That's at least the hope, the dream, which I know is going to be such a high point of everybody's day. And let's start that off right now. So welcome to economics, right? So this is the grade 12. There we go. The grade 12 economics course. And I don't know how many people took the grade 11 course. It doesn't run at my school, so I'm not really sure how many people would have taken another school. Anyway, economics in itself, something that's usually kind of mixed in with other business courses, or people think it's finance and things like that, when really it's not. So the idea is, as a society, we have unlimited wants, right? And that doesn't mean like everybody's selfish. Could be mean just in terms of we all need to eat, and we need to sleep, we need to have water, we need shelter, that kind of thing. Those are all wants, as well as the luxury items, well, like this iPad that I'm writing on, or a bunch of other things, entertainment, jobs, wages, healthcare, all sorts of things. Now the issue is we have limited resources. Okay, so these two things are not equal, meaning, let's say you have 100 people and 100 people want the same job. They all want a job promoting things on YouTube, right? That's something that's popular, but it's very difficult to get. So out of those 100 people, maybe 10 people of those can actually make a living off of that particular job on YouTube. So if only 10, that means 90 people are not going to get what they want out of that particular thing. This could be simplified to 100 people show up at a restaurant and they all want to have the special, right? Everybody wants baked clams, which I'm really not sure why I chose that, because I've never had baked clams, but whatever. Everybody wants baked clams. 100 people show up. They only have 90 orders. Not everybody's getting baked clams. Okay, so you can see how, just strange, off the wall, not really off the wall, but just different examples, how this thing doesn't work. So they have to figure out, economics is a study of figuring how do you distribute those resources to meet as many wants as possible. And what economics and economists try to do, they try to maximize what is called utility. And utility is the measurement of satisfaction. Wow. Satisfaction. So the higher, somebody's utility, the more satisfied they are with something. So let's say you wanted a new car, everybody wants a Tesla or something like that. Well, not everybody's going to be able to afford a Tesla or be able to have access to getting a Tesla. They're going to have to get, if they wanted it because it's an electric vehicle, there are other electric vehicles, so they can satisfy their want in another way and maximize their utility. They may not get exactly what they want, but they get something along the way. So that's really what we're talking about overall, is that kind of how do we get resources in people's hands that maximize their utility on a big scale, of course. So as um, as we go through studying that, there's going to be a lot of different things that come up, and one of the things that I want to go through quickly, and I'm sure everybody has seen this inquiry process before, or at least seen this picture of gears or whatever in various forms. But I'm just going to quickly go through this because inquiry is very important, and it does seem like today, and this isn't like a knock on young people, this is everybody. People of all ages want information fast, and they don't want to have put a lot of effort into getting it. And so that's why you see lots of people believing in conspiracy theories and things like that, and lots of different, basically wackadoodle ideas. I like that word because, and I call it wackadoodle because A, I like the word, and B, there's no proof. Like you don't have to have any evidence that this stuff actually exists. You don't have to prove your theory. People just will buy into things without evidence. And one of the ones that I just that I can't get around, and hopefully, maybe for 35 of you, maybe there is one of you that believes it, but the whole idea of the flat Earth theory, flat Earth theory has no basis. There's no proof in this. In fact, most people that believe it, it's because they don't understand the concept of the physics behind disproving it. They don't understand the concept of seeing how far your eyes can see versus the curvature of the Earth and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, it's like we live on a marble or something. They want to see the curves. It doesn't. Anyway, I'm getting off track. My point is, we go through this process. So, the gather and organize part. This is where something that you look at, and it is where I didn't want to start on this one. I will anyway. Okay, so that's where we gather information about from various places. From people, from reading, from watching things, from our own knowledge and all that kind of stuff. And we use this stuff to clarify and extend questions that we have about something. We observe things. We record information. That's all this gathering and organizing of information. What I wanted to start with, of course, was the formulating questions. Formulating questions is the beginning in a lot of ways. Doesn't always have to be, but it is a lot of times the beginning, because this is where you actually take notice of something. You kind of wonder about something. It's it's the basis of your interest in it. It gets you asking questions. It might be why you're in this course. You're like, I don't know what economics is. I've heard kind of a bit about it, but I don't really know what it is. So I'm gonna dive into that and check that out. And then you have some kind of preconceived ideas about it. You have some predictions about what it's going to be, and then you go into the idea of gathering evidence. And this isn't like it has to follow a certain pattern, right? The wheels, it's gears because they all turn each other. But that's when you go in and gather information, and you look at that information and see if it matched what you had. So then you get to things like interpreting and analyzing the information. So you had some preconceived notions about something. You went out and gathered information. You talked to people. You read articles. You watched YouTube clips. You did whatever you did. And maybe that changed your opinion, right? Or maybe that solidified your position. But it probably opens up, and it really always should open up more questions, right? Or the ability, or not the ability, but the opportunity to dive a little deeper into things. What else? Now that I've answered this part of it, let's look at the more complex part of it, or let's go this way, right? So that's that part. Evaluate and drawing conclusions. So you look at all the stuff that you've gathered together. You look at all the stuff you've learned, all the things that have changed, your opinion, or they haven't, or why they haven't. And hopefully from that point, that's where you kind of draw these conclusions, but you draw these new understandings of what it is you were looking at to begin with. And it's the way that we interact with the world, right? Like we wonder about something. We gather some information together. We take that information, we look at it, maybe ask a few more questions, and then at the end we kind of make an evaluation and conclusions about, hey, I think this, this is the way it goes, or I think this makes sense for my particular situation, and then we communicate those ideas. We either communicate them through what we do or what we say, how we act. We might this is where you celebrate in a lot of ways what you've learned. So let's say, hey, I'm taking a look at ancient Egypt. Thought it was cool. It is, by the way. Because I've seen, the famous picture of the pharaoh Tutankhamun. I thought that's pretty awesome. I'll take a look at that. And guess what I found? They didn't just mummify the pharaohs, the kings. They ended up mummifying animals, crocodiles, bulls, birds, thousands of them. Why? Why did they, I didn't understand. So I looked a little bit deeper into that. And then my next question is, well, how did it get from, just mummifying pharaohs to mummifying animals and I guess non-kings and stuff? So, and that's just an example. Of course, we're not going to look at that. Although I will, if it's popular. No, I won't, because I did that in the last class. But that's an example of following, this kind of process of inquiry. You're following interest in a subject, and you're answering questions you have, developing more questions, and sometimes you're never going to get to the end of the you're not going to get to the end of the rainbow. No, you're not going to get to a final answer, and that's okay, right? Because sometimes things are pretty complex, and there is no one single answer. So that's the inquiry process. All right, I'm going to talk about one other thing before I stop the first video, and that's a modern, not contemporary. What is the word I'm looking for? A today thing. What is that word? See, this is what I plan also on doing. This is like being in my class where I can't think of something, and you watch me struggle. Except for you're not watching me, you just listen to me struggle. But I think that's makes it a little more real. Basically, something that's happening in today's world right now. Right? It's not contemporary. Anyway, it'll come to me eventually. But something that's going on right now is this whole GameStop issue, and I have no idea if you guys know anything about it. GameStop is a company an American company, and it owns EB Games in Canada. It's the same company, and it's been for the last 3 years. It has decreased in value stock wise, and it has shrunk in terms of business for the past 12 straight quarters. So that's not good. And so it's not good for the company. It's only good for one particular thing, and that's people that are doing this. They're selling short. So that's a stock market thing. So just to differentiate, economics is not stock market, that's finance. But the things that happen in the stock market do have economic impacts on countries, on people, all sorts of things. So it is relevant in terms of economic. I promise it is. So this whole idea of selling short, this is where you're basically betting that a company's a loser and it's going to continue to lose. I'm not going to get into the nuts and bolts of it, but that's how you make money on it, is you are betting against the company. And as long as the value continues to go down, you are going to make money. So that's what they were doing. These Wall Street firms, big investment firms and hedge funds were doing that. And then there was this groundswell among day traders and just everyday people, and they gathered on Reddit, and they decided to buy into GameStop. Now, some of them were buying into it so they could, in a way, I guess they could help out GameStop because they really liked it. And other ones were doing it because they wanted to join something. Other ones were doing it because they didn't like, they basically don't like Wall Street, and they don't like these big businesses that do this. So what they did is they bought into the stock, and the stock price shot up. And It started. It was going as low as $18 a share, and it increased to $300 a share. I think that was the top end. Now, what does that do? Besides, you think, oh, that's great. Oh, it's not great for anybody who's doing this. It's not great for somebody who's selling short, because now it's more valuable than when you bought it. And you still owe the money on that. Even if, anyway, I'm not going to get into why that is, but basically if it increases and you bet wrong, you're going to lose money. And it happened where two big companies jumped out of it because I think the number was $2 billion were the losses, the rumored losses they had. So that was what was going on. And then a lot of these small investors, just regular people, they were using an app called Robinhood. And Robinhood is a free investment app that allows people to buy and sell stocks. Everyday people to buy and sell stocks. And Robinhood shut down the trading on GameStop. And so then people, obviously, there's a lot of backlash against Robinhood for doing this. And Robinhood said it was protecting its investors, it was protecting its customers. It looks more like Robinhood was protecting the big hedge fund companies, and maybe had been pressured. I don't know. Doesn't look good for Robinhood, though. They take a serious hit on their reputation. Probably allows room for somebody else to move into their space in terms of the market space. So a lot of backlash against Robinhood. And basically, I mean, that's where we kind of leave it in terms of don't know what's going to happen. Once Robinhood shut down trading, the price fell, but it's not back down to 18 or anything, but it fell. And I noticed this morning that now silver is getting a big bump. So silver, usually it's gold, right? Gold gets the investment, but this time it's silver. So now the Reddit investors are looking at boosting the price of silver through the same kind of mob investing. And so we have no idea how this is going to affect the marketplace at all. It's totally disrupting the way the stock market usually works. It is it's a completely different phenomena. And so we'll see what effect that has going forward, whether the SEC in the United States is going to impose some kind of cap or something like that, or the government's going to step in. It's going to make all sorts of different things come up. And this is where we get into why is it that some things are investigated and some things are not in terms of economics. And we've got four things here. So one, I didn't spell that right. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't even, I hit the E. No, that's a C. Do that again. What did I do here? Economic significance. Okay, that's the first one, economic. So is this relevant? Why is this important for economics? So in this case, of course, it's going to drive a lot of different things. It could change government policy, could make a lot of significance in terms of the economics. Then we've got economic perspective. Not going to fit that in there. Perspective. That is looking at the stakeholders. No, holders. Wow. I put skate holders. The stakeholders that would be affected. So we'd be talking about the companies, the Wall Street companies, investors. We'd talk about the day traders. We'd talk about government. Those are all stakeholders in this this particular issue. Next part is the cause and effect. Right. So how is this? How are these decisions, these policies? Let's say they make a policy that affects day traders. It limits their ability to manipulate the market. What effect is that going to have, right? How's that going to affect day traders? Are they going to stop trading? Are they going to have some other way of getting into it? I don't know. We don't know. So how are these decisions that might come out of it, how are they going to affect things? And then the last one is stability and variability, which I promise is what I tried to write there, variability. Okay, so these policies and these pressures of this particular situation, how is this going to lead to, is it going to lead to volatility? Is it going to lead to stability? Again, we don't know, but these are the four big things about why we ask questions in economics, because we want to know, first of all, why is it important? Then we want to know who's involved, what are the different people involved, how do they see the particular issue, and then what are the cause and effects for the different stakeholders, and finally, what's going to come out of this? We're going to see some stability. Are we going to see volatility over time? Are we going to, what are we going to see? So I'm going to end this video here, and I'm going to pick up with the assignment part and all that stuff in a moment. I'm just hoping this one actually works.